You know, they say hindsight's 20/20. When I was 18, first of all, you know, I grew up on radio and still love radio. I got to renew my license, but I'm a ham radio operator. They're expired and I got to renew them. But I always wanted to become a disc jockey on the radio. But I got scared out of it because I was told or heard through grapevine that this radio school's hard. Red Bank Road, the Ohio Center of Broadcasting. I hear it's hard. I think it takes 2 years, associate. But they say you got to really learn how to pronounce, and I can understand why properly. And one time where my dad worked, they hired this guy that was, I don't think he got any paid for it, but he did Christian at a high school. I can't remember where it was at. A Christian station. He was a disc jockey, and he invited me to come over one evening and sat with him while he's on the radio. And it was so cool to watch him. This back in the 70s. And you know, years later, and I was watching a video on YouTube, and a guy, I forget where he works now, I think Google, but anyway, he used to be a disc jockey himself. People ask him, they said, what was it like to be a disc jockey? And they say, you know, it looks romantic or whatever, you know. And he said, no. He said, and I quote him, he said, tremendously boredom. Well, when I sat in with that guy who was a disc jockey at a Christian station, high school, he didn't look like he was, of course I was talking to him, but you know, he looked like he was busy. But I've heard it's kind of a boring job, but I always wanted to become a disc jockey, but I was scared out of it. So when you got your heart set on one thing and you don't do it because you're scared out of it, or you know, because you hear it's too hard, every other job, I don't care what, when you got your heart set on one job, period, career, everything else is blah. I don't care what company you work for. When you got your heart set on one thing, everything else is blah. So you guessed it. In 1987, my sister was in Florida. She said, come to Florida. Heck with it, I will. So I took a Greyhound bus down to Florida. Didn't want to drive 600 miles, so I took a Greyhound. She had met me down there. And going through the newspaper, you know, disc jockey was out. I knew that. So everything else is, you know, blah. Newspaper classified, a little column, a real small column. Said timeshare. You know, it's just something to the effect, do you know how to talk? Make good money. So what the heck? So I went to the office, went down there next day. They hired me in 3 minutes. Well, all it was is you get to walk on the beach, put on your swimming trunks, walk the beach, talk to people, and get them go through a 30-minute selling tour, light pressure, and the salesman trying to sell them certain months out of a year on timeshare. Whether they bought or not, each person I got to go set or walk through a 30-minute tour. I think it was a walkthrough. If I could get them to go walk through a 30-minute tour, whether they bought or not, timeshare, I got paid. And I think one day I made $170 in 7 hours because I got, remember, $30 each per person. It took me about 2 days to get used to it, and surprisingly, the rejection wasn't that bad. 70% of people was very cool. A lot of people did not buy it, but they would come back out to the beach, because timeshare was right around the corner, and they would lay on the back on their towel. They'd take their towel with them and come back about their spot. And a lot of them said that we didn't buy, but we sat there for the 30-minute tour. A little bit of pressure to it, but they said, hope you get credit for us. you had a few people, get on my face. They didn't quite, well, the good part about all this, they're on vacation anyway, no doubt. They might be local. And overall, their spirit is good. So I don't even think I even had one snarky. I don't think I had one attitude. One guy says, we ain't got time today. But as far as attitudes, they're on vacation anyway, majority of them, 99% of them. So their attitude is already up, or their good attitudes is already good. You have to worry about, that made it a lot easier. It's just like talking to this camera, and all I had to do is get you to go through a tour, explain it. And I walked with the boss the whole day, listen to him. I'd stand back, let him talk. But swim when you want. Just talk to people on the beach. Try to get them to go through a 30-minute tour and swim. And they had all, for us workers, there were about 15, 20 of us. They had all kind of Danish rows. You could go in any time and get you something to drink and a Danish row snack. You could snack anytime you wanted. Long as you got people in there, they didn't care. But the red tide come in. Google that, you'll know what it is. Basically, it's a plant on the ocean floor bottom, and releases a gas, and it kills fish. And I was swimming, we was told about it might miss us, but they said the red tide's probably going to hit us. When that hits, the job's dead. Because the fish start rotting, and they have to come in with bulldozers, dig holes in the beach, shovel all the dead fish in there, and cover that back up. And when it did come in, I was swimming, and I bumped into a 20-pound fish. The ocean's big fish anyway. When I bumped into the fish, he was already half rotted. I'm not making that up. Oh, he stuck. Oh, it stunk. He stunk. Anyway, that killed the job. That was ruined. We got paid on a Friday. This is that's already say 1987. Got paid on a Friday. And it was, the office is right there, the odor was so bad. To go and get my paycheck at the office, you had to hold your nose the entire, once you get out of the car, or if you had the windows down, within 1 mile of the beach, you had to do that. I had to, and it burns your eyes. The odor's horrible. You have to do this, and your eyes is burning terribly. And tried to walk to the office and get your check. Oh, it was horrible. I don't remember how long it lasted, but, said heck with it. But that was a real good, that wasn't bad. Once you got used to talking to people, it was really as easy as, I've ran flea markets before. It was even easier than that. Like I say, they're already, most of them's on vacation. They're already in a good mood because they're at the beach. And so you ain't going to meet that many small. I don't even think I met one. I'm trying to think how long I worked there before the red tide hit. I can't remember. But this here, now this video business reminds me so much of being a disc jockey. You not only hear me, you can see me. Oh man, it's like see, I've talked people over the world on the radio in the first place, and so my voice, you should never hear me get nervous in my voice, but you can see me now. But this is probably this is the best job I've ever had. This right here. But when you're 18, now I go back to 81 when I graduated from high school, and finally figured out disc jockey school. It was just probably too hard, so it scared me out of it. Then it just been basically dullness. When you got your heart set on one thing, everything else is nothing, basically. I don't care what company it is. So without being a disc jockey, a few years, this dead end job going nowhere. At least that's my opinion. Then I get, I think it was a great job. Then I get timeshare. What could take this down? And sure enough, the red tide come in. Guess there's no guarantees in nothing when you think about it. But that's my hindsight 2020. Would I like to try a disc jockey? Do I think it's as hard as they make it sound to be? I think the rumors I've heard about disc jockey school is hard. I think it's true because I've got a few videos on YouTube here, and I think it's pretty hard. I'd probably do well now, but when I was 18, you know how you are when you're 18, you're green. At least I was. I was shy. That hurt a lot. Oh well.